I'm now reading about North Korea warns of tensions over USS South Korea War Games. North Korea's propaganda machine is churning out near daily denunciations of the United States and South Korea for a series of soon-to-start military maneuvers, warning nuclear war could be imminent, and saying it will take dramatic actions of its own if further provoked. If further provoked. Sound familiar? North Korea's increasingly shrill opposition to the annual joint drills named Fall Eagle looks very similar to the kind of vitriol that preceded the start of the same exercises last year and led to a steep rise in tensions on the Korean peninsula. That round of escalation culminated in threats of a nuclear strike on Washington and a flattening of Seoul before the maneuvers ended and both sides went back to their corners. It appears the first stages of this year's battle have already begun, though some experts say they don't think it will be as high-pitched as last year's. In the latest of North Korea's increasingly frequent salvos against the exercises, it said through its state-run media that the United States is building up its military forces in Asia so it can invade the country, formerly called the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, or DPRK, and take control of the whole region. It's the strategic goal of the U.S. to invade the DPRK, bring its neighboring countries under its control with it as a stepping stone, and furthermore, dominate the whole Asia Pacific region. The ruling parties, Ron said in an analysis on Monday. The U.S. is working hard to kick off large-scale joint military drills this year, too, for the purpose of mounting a preemptive nuclear attack upon the DPRK. The invectives against the exercises began earlier this month, when North Korea's powerful National Defense Commission proposed the rivals hold military actions and mutual vilification to build better relations. The North, however, strongly hinted it would maintain its nuclear weapons program, while urging South Korea to cancel the drills with the United States, set to begin in late February. North Korea's ambassador to key ally China offered a somewhat less caustic line at a rare news conference on Wednesday. Xu Jiajun told international media that North Korea wants to reduce tensions to allow steps toward reconciliation and eventual unification between North and South. First, we propose taking preparatory measures in response to the warm call for creating an atmosphere for improving North-South ties. In this regard, we officially proposed the South Korean authorities take critical measures of halting acts of provoking and slandering the other side from January 13th, 30th. G said. The G reiterated that North Korea had no intention of abandoning its nuclear weapons program. Seoul-based analyst Daniel Pinkston of the International Crisis Group said that although some experts saw the proposal as an overture or part of a charm offensive by North Korea, it was intended more as a means of setting the stage for more heated actions ahead, since the North has no reason to expect that Washington and Seoul would seriously consider Nixon for ego. It needs into the propaganda cycle again. He said, it's a way of showing the domestic audience that we made a serious overture. We tried to bend over backwards, but they showed their true colors. I don't see any cooperative measures or charm offensive at all. Seoul and Washington have essentially ignored North Korea's proposal. Seoul instead demanded that North Korea take partial action for nuclear disarmament if it truly wants peace on the peninsula. But Seoul has proposed working-level talks on Wednesday to discuss allowing Koreans separated by the 1950 to 53 Korean War to reunite. North Korea didn't immediately respond to Seoul's proposals. The fighting between North and South Korea ended 6 decades ago with an armistice, not a peace treaty, leaving the peninsula still technically in a state of war. North Korea remains highly sensitive to all military activity in the South, and sees Seoul as a puppet state because nearly 30,000 U.S. troops are based on its soil. This year's drills, in which troops will train on land, sea, and in the air, are expected to last until about April. Yoo Ho-yeol, a professor of North Korea studies at Korea University in South Korea, said he doesn't expect as much tension as last year. North Korea is maintaining its nuclear weapons program, but hasn't launched any fresh provocation. So, this year's drill will be more like the routine ones they conduct in previous years, he said. I'm now reading about Thai firms feel squeeze from crisis, seek solution. Hotel occupancy rates in central Bangkok have plunged. Conventions have been cancelled. Business deals have been postponed. Tourist bookings for coming months are way down. The latest spasm in Thailand's near decade of political upheaval is taking an economic toll as anti-government protesters barricade Bangkok's major intersections, and confrontations between protesters and supporters of Prime Minister periodically flare into deadly clashes. Since the 2006 coup ousted brother as Prime Minister, Thailand's economy has bounced back from several episodes of violent political conflict. However, the underlying failure to resolve deep divisions in Thai society has diminished its reputation as a reliable country for foreign business and raised the prospect of ever increasing instability. Celsius, Asia's second biggest economy, could waddle below 3% growth this year if the anti-government protests continue into the second quarter. The University of the Thai Chamber of Commerce projected that is far below potential for Thailand, one of the world's top tourist destinations and a base for global companies in industries from autos to hard drives. As recently as 2012, the economy grew 6.5%, and growth of nearly 4% will be reported for 2013 when official figures are released. It's terrible. It's worse than ever. We can see that end to it, said Vice President of the Association of Thai Travel Agents. Reservations from European and North Korean travelers to Bangkok through April are down 70%. Bookings from Asia are down 30%. If this situation continues, we will have to close many businesses. Corporate leaders fret that foreign investors planning new factories and business ventures will return to neighbors such as Malaysia, Vietnam, and Singapore if the conflict drags on. Worries of a violent showdown increase after government said it will press ahead with elections this Sunday, overriding objections from the election commission. Demonstrators are expected to block voting centers, and the opposition Democrat Party is boycotting the election. Since the end of November, 10 people have died and more than 570 have been injured in the conflict. Protest leaders want elected government replaced with a People's Council that will implement reforms such as rooting out corruption. Supported by the country's poor rural majority in its north and northeast, has proposed some reforms, but insisted that any changes must come after elections. The perception from foreign clients is pretty bad. They don't want to come. They don't want to come. Business stops and is put on hold, said Tina was a managing partner at law firm Baker and Ltd. in Bangkok. He said some corporate financing deals his firm is involved in have been put off. Tourism and Sports Minister said hotels near the protest sites in Bangkok, as well as in hotels in nearby provinces that cater to foreign tourists, have suffered dramatic falls in occupancy rates to about 30%, far below normal for this time of year, considered Thailand's high season. Political stability is a factor in whether Toyota Motor Corporation invest further in Thailand. The automaker's Thailand chief said at a press conference earlier this month. Thailand is a production export base for the Japanese automaker, whose 4 factories were churnched out nearly 800,000 vehicles last year. Tanada hoped production could reach 1 million in 3 to 4 years, a goal that would probably require another 50 to 20 billion baht of investment, he estimated. Seven businesses organizations, including the Stock Exchange and Tourism Council, have banded together since December to play a mediating role between and protesters, but have been unable to get the 2 camps together. It's very difficult because each side seems like they cannot pull back even 1 step, said Senior Vice President of Thai Beverage PCL, maker of Change Beer. The coalition has tried to serve as a middle ground, said Secretary General of the Thai Chamber of Commerce. At the moment, they don't talk. Lack of success at mediation might not be surprising. Business leaders are perceived to be more sympathetic to the protesters, so some experts question whether they can be a neutral mediator. I'm now reading about new verse that raises Saudi toll to 59 to 59. Saudi health authorities announced Wednesday a new MERS death, bringing to 59 the number of people who have died from the in a country with the most fatalities. The Saudi national aged 60 died in hospital in region, said the health ministry on its website. adding that he had suffered from chronic disease. The ministry said it has registered additional cases of the Middle East respiratory syndrome, bringing the total number to 143, including the fatalities. The World Health Organization said Monday that it has been informed of 180 cases of infection worldwide. Including 77 deaths. Experts are struggling to understand the disease, for which there is no vaccine. MERS is considered a deadlier but less transmissible cousin of the SARS virus that erupted in Asia in 2003 and infected 8,273 people, 9% of whom died. I'm now reading about Biden asks Abai not to visit War Shrine. Report. U.S. Vice President Joe Biden spent an hour trying to persuade Japan's Prime Minister not to visit the controversial shrine. 2 weeks before a pilgrimage that sparked fury in Asia, a report said Wednesday. In a telephone conversation with Prime Minister Abe on December 12th, Biden repeatedly urged the Japanese premier to stay away from the shrine. Kyodo News said, quoting unnamed diplomatic sources, is a memorial to around 2.5 million were dead, but it's controversial because those commemorated include a number of senior figures condemned to death at the end of World War II for their role in directing the conflict. I will decide by myself whether I will go, Abe reportedly responded, during what Kyodo said was a tense conversation with the U.S. Vice President. Biden finally gave up, saying he would leave the decision to the Prime Minister, the agency added. Immediate confirmation of the report was not available. Abe's December 26th trip to the shrine drew condemnation from China and South Korea, who view visits there as a symbol of what they say is Japan's unwillingness to come to terms with its wartime aggression. The shrine is also controversial because of an attached museum that offers a narrative of the war most historians find unacceptable, and which presents Japan as a frustrated liberator and a victim rather than an aggressor. Washington also issued a rebuke after Abe's visit, saying it was disappointed by Abe's action. U.S. diplomats privately acknowledged they were surprised by the move and say they had made their opinions known to the Prime Minister's office in advance. But the news that personal overtures from Joe Biden, who has enjoyed a good working relations with senior Japanese figures, were rejected will be embarrassment to the White House. The Japanese Prime Minister has not held a summit with Chinese President Xi Jinping or South Korean President Park since taking office in December 2012, with Tokyo locked in separate sovereignty disputes with its neighbors. Asked about the report on Wednesday, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Hua said Abe's visit to was the root of problems in Tokyo's relations with its neighbors. It is a blatant trample on historical justice and human conscience. She told reporters, Edina Beijing believed the visit had made opposition from the wider international community. We hope that countries around the world will express their voice of justice and urge the Japanese government to take concrete actions to correct its mistakes and improve its relations with neighboring countries, she said. The parlous state of relations in Northeast Asia is a headache for the U.S., which would like allies Japan and South Korea to get along, in part to help provide a counterweight to China's growing military and economic might. The spat between Tokyo and Beijing over uninhabited islands in the East China Sea has seen regular parliamentary standoffs and the increasing use of military planes and vessels, albeit at arm's length thus far. Observers warn it is a key geopolitical fracture point, which sounds suggesting the spat could descend into a conflict that will have disastrous economic consequences, possibly on a global scale. At the World Economic Forum in Davos last week, Abe caused a stir when he draw comparison between current Sino-Japanese relations and those between Britain and Germany in the run-up to World War I. U.S. President Barack Obama is expected to tour Asia in April, and although no destinations have been announced, it is thought likely that he will stop in Tokyo, where regional tensions will be high on the agenda. I'm now reading U.S. Senators urge nominee for Beijing ambassador to be tough on China. U.S. lawmakers expressed concern about China's territorial ambitions at a confirmation hearing on Tuesday for the next American ambassador to China, and they urged him to take a tough line with Beijing. Senator Max Baucus, President Barack Obama's nominee for the ambassador's post, told a Senate hearing he would do all he could to reduce tensions between China and its neighbors, and said he would follow a cautious approach with Beijing. Vickers said he agreed with an assessment of Republican Senator John McCain that China was trying to reassert its historical position as the dominant power in Asia.